Well, turning to the crisis at our border, Customs and Border Protection sources telling Fox that more than 87,000 illegal migrants were apprehended at the southern border last month. That is the lowest number in over 3 years. But it does not include the roughly 60,000 migrants who entered through ports of entry in June, largely through the controversial CBP-1 app. That number also doesn't include the roughly 30,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela paroled into the U.S. each month under Biden's humanitarian parole program, which allows migrants to fly directly into the United States. Joining me now, Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr. He's a member of the House China Select Committee, Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committees. And Congressman Barr, you just visited the southern border yesterday. What did you see?
Well, Cheryl, what I saw was that these numbers that you're reporting are actually undercounts. They're underreported. I was with the National Border Patrol Union yesterday, touring one of the most difficult parts of our border, the Laredo section. And we witnessed with our own eyes dozens of illegal migrants crossing the Rio Grande, the very shallow Rio Grande River. I was actually struck by how narrow that part of our border is. It's actually smaller than the Kentucky River where I represent. It's not a very difficult crossing at all, and there's no border infrastructure. There's no barrier. And as a result, the Border Patrol agents literally have an impossible job. They're being asked to do something that is impossible, which is to say to stop all of these migrants coming across in different groups all at the same time. And we witnessed a group of 9 migrants come across in a raft and 2 Border Patrol agents trying to chase them down, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't find them. And the way that this administration counts the gotaways, we witnessed these 9 individuals crossing the river. They could not find them, but the Biden administration refuses to count those individuals as so-called gotaways. They don't want to count them in the total numbers. So the numbers that are being reported are not actually reflective of the crisis that we have. We're literally being invaded by individuals. We don't know who they are. They're national security threats. And what the Border Patrol was telling us about this particular section is that these are not asylum seekers. These are individuals typically who are smugglers, human traffickers, drug dealers, and they just get away because they're under-resourced. The Border Patrol is under-resourced.
Well, they really are.
This is a real crisis.
It is, and I agree with you, Congressman, and that's why I found it so incredulous last Thursday night during the debate that President Biden claimed that he had the support, the endorsement of the Border Patrol. Of course, right away they came out and they squashed that and said, absolutely, we do not. But as you know, these Border Patrol agents, I mean, whether it's suicides or alcoholism or divorce rates, they as a group are really suffering because of the job that they have at the border, which is untenable. What do they need? What did they tell you that they need most right now?
You know what they told me? This was so interesting. Of course, morale is low because this administration refuses to help them and support them do their job, which is an incredibly dangerous job. But you know what they told me what they need? They need the wall. They need infrastructure. There's some technology there. They don't have enough Border Patrol agents because the Biden administration is reprogramming literally $1 billion that Congress has appropriated. They're reprogramming away from recruiting new agents. But what they told me they need the most is infrastructure, a physical barrier that allows them time to actually apprehend these individuals and deter these individuals from coming across. There's 70 miles of steel bollards of barrier that is on private property being stored. This was wall material that was acquired during the Trump administration that the Biden administration refused to erect that could be a barrier to help these Border Patrol agents stop the flow of illegal migrants. And the Biden administration refuses to complete the construction of this physical barrier. That's what these Border Patrol agents were telling me. And wow. we need leadership to actually put the wall in place, a physical barrier. They were telling me, these Democrats who say all we need is technology. Well, they do have technology there, but the topography doesn't allow the sensors and the cameras to actually detect all of the tactics of the migrants. And by the way, the cartels, they're using some of the same technology. They're using drones to find out where the Border Patrol agents are. And then they go to parts of the river where the Border Patrol agents are not. And so the technology is not the answer. The physical barrier is what we need, and that's what the Border Patrol agents told me yesterday.
I did not realize that all that steel was still sitting there at the border. That's government bought, that is taxpayer money that is sitting there, that is not being utilized. All that steel that I know that during the Trump administration was heading down there. Real quick before you go, you are on the House Select Committee on China. I need to ask you about this because your committee just launched this probe into Harvard after students were allegedly forced out of an event that featured the Chinese ambassador, and then they were harassed by Chinese students. The chairman of your committee, John Molinar, he wrote in a letter to Harvard's president just yesterday, this incident raises serious questions regarding possible transnational repression by the Chinese government and the involvement of international students from China at Harvard, and acts of harassment, intimidation condoned by the Chinese government against its critics. This sounds very serious, Congressman, but your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've seen this. Chinese nationals who actually live legally in the United States being targeted by the Chinese Communist Party, and actually these are the immigrants that we actually want to help, because they are freedom-seeking, democracy-seeking dissidents, and we need to make sure we protect those individuals, those Chinese legal immigrants to the United States, students with visas, proper visas, who are seeking education in the United States. China wants to harass them, and they want to recruit spies, espionage assets, to engage in academic espionage. And so we need to make sure that we detect this whenever possible and prevent the Chinese Communist Party from converting these individuals or harassing them or intimidating them into becoming spies against the United States. This is very serious, and actually it's not surprising to see this. But frankly, I think our university presidents, like at Harvard and other places, University of Kentucky, they need to understand the threat that exists. You're
going to call them before the committee when you get back from recess? You're going to call Harvard's president back to Capitol Hill?
I think that would be a good idea. And it's not just Harvard. It's universities all over the country, Confucius Institutes and other universities that host these Chinese programs. Make sure we protect those innocent Chinese nationals with valid visas, and then also work with the FBI to make sure, and the Office of Private Sector, to make sure we detect these academic espionage efforts.
Okay, Congressman Andy Barr, it's great to have you on. Thank you for being here, sir. It's good to see you.
Good to be with you.